Yeah. So, I guess y'all want to start. So LJ was talking about we asked the question LJ last week of who his top five franchise players would be, and kids.
Oh, he cut out.
Who you be? Who you got? Top five in today's NBA.
Top five.
Not top five. You said top. Did you say top five players? Or you said who you?
No, five players you start your franchise with.
Well, I would say definitely KD if he's healthy. Kawhi, LeBron. Those three, I mean, they're definite. After those three, it gets a little difficult. Whew. I'm gonna go Anthony Davis.
Ooh.
Go AD. I'm gonna go AD.
He did enough today to make you say that because he dropped 30.
I mean, you know, I'm a Kentucky fan. I've been on AD since 2011. You know what I'm saying? But I mean,
he was averaging 2 points there.
Rick still think Ron Mercer a franchise player. Only off that curl though.
he beats with the curl route, that little elbow jumper. Now, but I gotta go AD. You know, not just for the 34-point game, man. I mean, his whole career. He's 26, 27 years old. He's just now scratching the surface of what he will be in my eyes. So I'm putting AD on there. Number 4. Number 5.
They've been saying that about Anthony Davis for years, just for the record. He just scratching.
I mean, a man 26, man, 26 years old. He's been in New Orleans.
He's scratching that since he's been in the NBA.
That man was playing with the team. Well, what's your boy name? Mickey Harrison was a daggone GM. The GM for the Saints was the GM for the Pelicans for a long time. People don't even realize.
Sports.
I mean, number 5. I mean, I like Luka. And Luka's a beast, but I don't know. It's still a little early. I'm not gonna pick Steph. Y'all on the Steph train. I'm not on the Steph.
You gotta stop the light skin hate, bro.
It ain't nothing to do with light skin, man. It just I've seen too many games where he's come up small. You know, in my opinion. You know.
Oh Lord.
He's small.
I can name a ton of games LeBron James that came up small. You got
Who your fifth? You out here tiptoeing, bro. He about to say somebody nobody gonna like Damian Lillard or something. That's why he don't want to mention it.
I ain't gonna say Dame. Even though I like Dame for sure.
Pascal Siakam or somebody.
No, not Siakam.
Take Zion?
Hell no. Hell no, man. Give me a little minute to come back, but I'm gonna lock in them 4. I'm gonna do a little look. I'm coming back.
So I'll give you my 5. I'll give you my 5, and then we'll shoot back to Greg because so he can explain his 5 after he pick his 5th. So obviously LeBron, obviously Kawhi, Steph, Luka, and I'm not gonna pick KD because of the reason why I'm picking the other 5. And then my 5th will probably be Giannis. Your leader don't always have to be the best player on the team, but I feel like I got to be able to coach my best player, right? If I can't coach my best player, then how can I coach everybody else? And I feel like as soon as this is kind of a little taking a shot at KD. As soon as you do something he don't like, he gonna whine and complain, and I don't need that type of drama in my locker room.
You think KD is coachable?
Do I think KD is coachable?
I guess you just said you did. So that kind of
he was coachable with Scott Brooks, wasn't he?
He was coachable with Steve Kerr.
Was he?
I mean, barring injury, they was about to win 3 championships straight.
No, I'm not denying his talent.
I'm not.
But I'm saying.
I'm talking about coachability. I mean, I don't think I ever. I'm trying to.
I think they cater to him though. You know what I mean?
Every team caters to superstar.
No, what I'm saying is like I don't
You
think
mean you think the
I don't
coach's
think the
decision? You think the coach's
coaches and
decision?
players. I think they kind of let him do some stuff that they normally wouldn't let do just because of his like how his ego is. Everybody know KD. Brittle.
Are you talking about play calling and things like that, or are you talking about just
Play
general stuff with the team, like
play
being
all
on
of
time and shit like that?
all of the above, all of the above, all of the above.
Can we get some examples?
I'm
Of
ready.
what
I'm ready
like
to play it off.
how they I mean even how they let's say how they interacted with the media, right? As soon as somebody brought up Steph, and this is kind of Steph's personality, but he would deflect, right, and talk about KD. But as soon as someone said it was KD, I mean like Steph's team, KD didn't like that. I guess that's what I'm saying. I don't want. And as far as
What they got to do with being coachable?
hold on, I'm about to tell you. And as far as like, let's talk about him in the Draymond situation, right? I feel like Draymond probably talks to everybody like that, right? Or yells at everybody. I would say, but the one time he looked KD off, it's a big problem.
I'm gonna respond to that. Number one, just because you talk to everybody like that, don't mean that somebody gotta let you talk to them like that.
No, I get that. What I'm saying is like,
Number two,
go ahead.
in that situation, I'm gonna be the same way as KD. If I'm the best player on the team, look, Draymond Green is good in his own right. I'm not trying to disrespect him, but he's not Kevin Durant in the clutch. I don't want Draymond Green shooting the ball. Get the ball to Kevin Durant. So if I'm Kevin Durant, I'm pissed off because you're not giving me the ball.
He's gonna understand. You gonna understand why he's upset. He's the guy. Yeah, you gotta give him the ball.
Yeah, I understand why he's upset. I mean, I can respect Draymond. No, I can respect Draymond to take. You know what I'm saying? He's proven himself as a playmaker.
Right.
The NBA in the regular season, playoffs, finals. So he's proven himself. However, is no different. And I'm not saying Draymond Green is Scottie Pippen, but if Scottie Pippen bring the ball up the court in the clutch and Jordan is wide open, get the ball to Jordan. It doesn't say anything about you. It's just like that's Jordan.
And I'm probably going to look at KD differently if he's not upset about getting the ball at the end of the game. You know what I'm saying? I'm
It's really
expecting
just him. Like,
to be.
I don't need my superstar to be that brittle. Is what I'm saying.
I'm not.
Got a whole burner account and all that. So I can't rock with that.
I was never as good as KD, right? In
You
football,
said what?
no, I was never as good as KD. But I can assure you,
Yeah.
in football, I have done that before. Third down, and you throw the ball to a receiver who I feel like is not as good as me, and he don't catch the ball when he get the first down. I've yelled at a quarterback before.
I mean, I fought that battle before I was a quarterback, but at the end of the day, I touch the ball every play, so you gonna like it or go sit down. So it ain't gonna matter.
Green did.
I done threw people out of my huddle before, bro. It ain't that big of a deal.
I was the best player on the team. You can't throw me out the huddle. Throw somebody playing as good as you out the huddle, but you can't throw the best player on the team out the huddle. It don't matter what position you play. You could be the quarterback. You could be the center. You can't throw the best player out the huddle. Coach ain't.
Well, I was kind of like me and my homeboy. We was kind of the best players, so I guess I had that right. The dude I threw out the huddle wasn't the best player. I can tell you that.
Who your fifth player?
Fifth player,
Huh?
I'm going with Giannis. I'm gonna go with Giannis. Giannis number 5.
So recap for me. It was LeBron, Kawhi, KD.
LeBron, Kawhi, KD when healthy, Anthony Davis, and Giannis. Every player that I've selected, with the exception of Kevin Durant because he's hurt, they all top 10 in the PER. And I know before you get on me about the analytics, LJ, I'm not an analytics person, but the player efficiency rating is I give some credence to that. So what'd you say, LJ?
I don't even understand PER. I've never even tried to.
I mean, it's just basically every time that they're on the court, they're making an impact.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not a valid. It's not a valid stat. I'm just saying, like, I don't understand PER.
The breakdown of it.
I mean,
yeah, that's the reason
So
why.
how the hell did Anthony Davis get in Your top 5 starter franchise. He had his own franchise.
That was ran by Mickey Harrison, bro. You
Yeah.
can't forget that. Like you can't. The Pelicans.
Cavaliers was ran by who when LeBron was there both times?
David Griffin, one of the
Was
best.
he there the second time? He wasn't there the second time, was he?
David Griffin was the GM when they won championship in '16.
I don't know
I
who.
think he was the GM there before. He might have been the GM there before LeBron left.
No, that was Danny Ferry, wasn't it?
Greg, you know Hassan Whiteside is in the top 10 at PER.
Oh.
Hassan Whiteside. Not on the list I'm looking at. He number 11 though. He number 11. Number 11.
Number 8, 24.98. Now, unless you look, I'm looking at the 1920 season, and I'm not sure if this is updated based on like.
Yeah. And I'm looking at 1920 season 2, and like I said, I don't know necessarily the date on this. I mean, yeah, you know, you got Mitchell Robinson, number 17.
Oh my God.
Robinson number 12 on her. I'm looking. I'm not. Listen, I'm trying to show you.
No, I believe you.
Y'all see that?
I can see the page, but I can't see the names and nothing like that.
Look over here to the PEL. It's sorted by PEL. Yeah. You would fool me to think that Mitchell Robinson. Who is Christian Wood?
I have no idea.
Number 12.
I know who John Collins is though.
Number 12.
He hurt, ain't he?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, no. I don't think he was hurt. I don't know if he was hurt when the season ended or not.
Man, I could have sworn John Collins was hurt.
I think he was hurt last season. You know what I'm
I thought
saying?
he was hurt this year.
Let me ask you.
Okay.
So, y'all both picked Giannis.
Right.
Y'all don't have any concerns about his ability to consistently score in the half court?
Nah.
So, hold on. All right, go ahead, Greg. Go ahead.
I think that his game is in such a way that he's so aggressive that he forces the issue. You know, the way the game is played now, you really can't hand check. You really can't defend. So he's going to get in the lane regardless. And he's going to, attract a lot of bodies. So I think more so for him, you know, he's got to hit the wide open 3-pointer because people are going to give him that shot. The shooting is a bit concerning, but I mean everybody got a weakness, and if he stays away from it, that's just how you become great. You stay away from your weaknesses. So I think that he can force the issue enough on offense to stay in the paint to where the shooting deficiencies they really won't be noticed like that. Do you think the shooting kept them from winning the championship last year or not getting to the finals last year? Was it because of his shoot?
I'm actually trying to find here.
You gotta turn your volume up too, LJ.
Yeah, I don't hear you. So this is what I say.
Is that better?
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, he had a bad 4 games against Toronto. Like they were up 2-0. I guess I would say a bad 3 because in that third game he was actually kind of balling, but he fouled out either right at the beginning of overtime or right before overtime, something like that. It doesn't concern me because I guess you can say the same thing like after the 2011 season with LeBron when the Mavericks basically just played zone on him and kind of made him ineffective. I think Giannis's work ethic is hard enough to where he can cover up some of those deficiencies, kind of like what Greg said. But I don't think I think Toronto's team was kind of built perfect to slow him down or defend him because they had Kawhi, and then you had Ibaka, Marc Gasol, and Siakam. They all long waiting on him at the rim. And I don't think a lot of teams are going to be able to do that. Maybe the Lakers, if they can find somebody that can kind of stick with him on the perimeter. But not everybody's going to have the athleticism and length at the rim to stop him consistently like that. So, it doesn't really concern me. As long as everybody around him is knocking down the shots like they need to, then it don't really concern me.
If they win today, they clinch the number 1 seed in the East, if that matters.
I,
But
I respect Giannis's game because he is a dominant basketball player. I mean, last year he was what? Oh, that's the playoffs. He was like 27 or 28 and like 11 rebounds and 5 assists, block and steal the game. You know what I mean? He's obviously um, a great player. So I don't want to seem like I'm taking away from his skills, but I feel like from watching him, I feel like his biggest asset is his ability to play in transition, meaning like, you play in transition, he gets the ball and then he gets going downhill while everybody is kind of like, still transitioning from
Retreating.
defense. And he's able to get into those gaps and then use his size to get to the rim, right? But
Yeah.
if you notice, if you go back to that series against Toronto, the problem he had, not that he doesn't have talent, and I agree with Malcolm about the size and some of the other things that worked in Toronto's favor. But if you look at it, if you watch his game, there's not one thing that he really does well offensively, right? There's not one thing that he doesn't have a great, he doesn't handle the ball great. I mean, he's a good ball handler for his size, but he doesn't
Mhm.
handle the ball great. He doesn't shoot. He doesn't post up very well. A lot of his points literally come from he's in transition and him being able to brutalize. I mean, use his strength to get past people, right? And that for me personally, I have concerns about that when it comes to the playoffs because I know that historically, the NBA playoffs in particular are more of a half court game. Teams
Mhm.
lock in a little bit more. You play fewer players. It's a different game. I mean, if you look at his stats last year, his points per game went down in the playoffs, which to me is not a good sign. I don't know what he shot at in the playoffs, but I mean I respect him, but I think is if he develops a go-to move, he'll be ridiculous. He
I
will.
think for me, I think
He
his free throw shooting. Oh,
oh, go
I
ahead. Go.
think his free throw. I think his free throw shooting will be more of a concern to me than his perimeter shooting. Because I feel like if he improves his free throw shooting, and then when he gets to the half court, he can just go to the block and force a foul. You know what I mean? And then he can still get his points that way.
But
So
you're not gonna force a foul every time if you got no post moves. Like,
you know, superstars get calls.
nah, I mean, but listen, he was having Marcus Smart was doing a great job on him yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not gonna say like this is all you have to do to stop Giannis, but
that's one of the better defenders in the league, though.
still, but I'm just saying like the thing of it is like okay, make it a half court game. Don't let him get a running start by letting him get in transition and make him turn and face and do something with the ball. Now, sometimes he's going to score, yes, but if he gets to you on the lower block and I'm 6'4", he's not really. He doesn't have any post move. He doesn't have a jump hook. He doesn't have a consistent shot where he can turn and shoot over his shoulder. So there's really the size advantage is really not that big of a deal, except for in terms of offensive rebounding. But I mean, I'm not knocking Giannis. I'm just saying, why if a guy's gonna be the guy on my team, I want to be able to, and I expect him to play that role as the lead scorer. He needs to be able to score in the half court on a consistent basis for me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? If Giannis had to shoot a pull up jumper to win, everybody probably gonna assume you're gonna lose.
Right. I
Not,
mean, and it's his offensive struggles is one reason why I was kind of hesitant to put him in my top five. And actually, um Luca is really close. You know what I'm saying? He's really really close. So it basically comes down to like this playoffs. So I think Luca probably can pass him in my eyes with this playoffs, how he performs or how poorly Giannis performs. If they don't get to the finals,
what
I
you
don't know, man.
So I got
Uh,
a question. Speaking of
uh,
getting to the finals, so Kawhi's like status grew because he won the championship last year. Pretty much, right? Everybody, would y'all agree? Like his status as far as being like a top tier player. Because I think before that season started, nobody was scared. I don't think nobody was considering him probably top 5. I don't think. I could be wrong.
Man, that's because that year before that, he only played like 10 games.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
and the year before that, I don't think nobody was even considering him top 5. So I said all that to say this: if Toronto makes it to the finals, does that diminish what they did last year? Like, does that diminish his Kawhi's game, like what he did last year?
I don't think so.
Because the reason why I say this is because like people were saying it's basically just him, right?
No.
But if he leaves and they didn't make a major
Anybody with
addition,
some sense, anybody with some sense knows it wasn't just him. That team was stacked already.
That's
He
guy.
was just carry on top. That was a nice squad. And then too, when they made the in-season trade to get Gasol too, that made them much better too. You know, that was a big
they're the
pickup.
number 2 seed right now. I don't think nobody was expecting them to be the number 2 seed this year. Let's put it that way.
Right. I mean, they didn't lose nobody but Kawhi. I mean, he was a big part of the team, but that team stacked, man. And then OG, you know what I'm saying? He didn't even really play last year because he was hurt.
He was hurt,
Now,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Now he playing. You know?
Takes away from them because I mean, if you go back to it, like Kawhi was like a dog last year in the playoffs. I mean,
he was gassed too, though.
I was about to say, he had some bad fourth quarters. He had some bad fourth quarter.
Everybody has bad game, but I'm just saying, like, if you go down to it, like, he was balling in the playoffs, especially.
Oh yeah, for sure. He was a dog.
So let me ask you this: if he doesn't make that shot against Philly,
they might lose to Philly.
No, they don't. Oh, they was gonna lose. But I guess what I'm saying is he viewed the same if he doesn't make this shot against Philly?
Of course not. I mean, you know, the whole championship, like we said, I mean, in my eyes, catapults him to the next level. So yeah, he's not looked at as the same. He doesn't have the same type of leverage, you know, to have all these teams look at him and say, hey, I want to play with this guy, I want to play with that guy. You go and you win a championship, you start to get to call all your shots, you know. So I think that I definitely put him on another level.
I think the biggest reason it did is because if you go back to the history of Toronto over the last few years before he got there, I mean,
choke off.
Yeah, they had some really, really good teams. I think the year before he got there, weren't they the number 1 seed?
They were number 1 seed.
Yeah, number 1 seed, and they got swept by LeBron.
Yeah.
Hey, I blame that on DeMar DeRozan though.
They had some really good teams.
I don't know. I really blame that on Dwayne Casey.
But they had some really good. They couldn't get over the hump, and then once they got him over that hump, you know, and then like I said, you know, the way he was playing, but I don't know.
I guess it was a perfect storm. I guess you could say it was a perfect storm because like you had those Toronto teams that couldn't get over the hump, and the hump was LeBron. Let's be honest. But then LeBron leaves, Kawhi comes, and they get over the hump. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's not saying they wouldn't have beat LeBron if he was there. I'm just saying like all these things kind of fell in place for him. But Toronto would never beat LeBron as long as DeMar DeRozan there.
But to answer your question, if Toronto wins it this year, I don't think you can take away.
I ain't even saying winning. I'm just saying just make it to the finals.
Yeah, but still, I don't think you take away from what they did last year because this year, regardless, and I'm not one of the people that likes to, you know, phrase it this way, but it's gonna have an asterisk. You know what I'm saying? The bubble and everything
I don't think so.
Totally different deal. I mean, it's
shit. If Toronto met the Clippers in the finals and Toronto won.
But I mean, I think we had a conversation about this. I don't know, and I'm tooting my horn about a few things we had a conversation before, and I kind of was right. One thing is, remember I told you about using the fans and getting them involved and kind of having them, you know, maybe
ain't nobody paying attention to that, bro.
They doing it. I'm not saying they paid attention to me. Of course not. I'm nobody. But surprisingly, they are doing it. You know what I'm saying? Now, I didn't think about it Now I thought of it more so say like, you know, you do a recording of something and they show it during a commercial break or something like that. But the fact that they actually got them, you know, doing the game like they're in the stands, that's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? I think that's pretty creative. But another thing that I said earlier, and I think it's staying true to form with this bubble, man, these young teams struggling. The youth are struggling, bro.
They won
Pelicans struggling. Pelicans lost that first game, man. It's over. You know what I'm saying?
the
They
Pelicans.
lost their first game to Utah. They season over, bro. They can't recover from that. I'm looking at Boston, still a fairly young team, struggling. You know, Jason Tatum was top 5 before the season ended.
Top 5 what?
Man, Jason Tatum Jason Tatum was averaging 30 a game.
Boy,
Like
hold on. What do you mean top 5? Top 5 MVP conversation? Top 5 player? Like, what are you talking
like
about?
like 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 now I'm not saying like MVP. No, I'm not saying for the whole season. I'm saying for about the good. We'll say from about the new year.
Last 5 games?
We'll say from about January 1st all the way till the season, temporarily stopped. Man was
So 10
balling.
games. So 10 games.
10 games in 2 months. They play like 3 times a week. Come on, bro, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? That dude was averaging 30, man. But I said that to say,
So was Damian Lillard.
I mean, they ain't improving. You know what I'm saying? Lillard proved.
Proving to what?
Damian Lillard not proving. He ain't showed you enough.
I said prove to what?
Proving that he can win a damn series.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Damn,
saying?
Jason Tatum been to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Was that really on him?
Who was it on?
I think it was more of a collective effort.
Oh, that was on.
He balled.
What'd you say, LJ?
Yeah, Thomas.
Thomas.
Can't hear you, bro.
Thomas, he was doing it.
I can't hear you. That's what I'm saying. I can't hear what you said.
Yeah.
That
Speak up.
better? Is that better?
A little bit.
Not really, man. You got to get you a new microphone, bro.
I was about to say, I actually heard you better when you wasn't using the microphone, bro.
I'm gonna unplug the microphone then.
But nah, Greg threw me off. I don't even know what the hell we was talking about. He already talking about Jason Tatum top 5.
Top 5. Can y'all hear me now still?
Yes,
Yeah, I
sir.
agree.
Whole
All
lot
right,
better.
cool.
Uh,
So what y'all think about the what so far what y'all have seen in the bubble in terms of the actual play on the court?
I mean,
man, it's a lot of.
Go ahead, Mal.
No, you good.
Well, I was gonna say the play is shitty. It's sloppy.
Really, you think so?
It's pretty sloppy, but they playing hard. You know what I'm saying? They playing hard. It's super competitive. The sloppiness is kind of to be expected because they had a long layout. I'm not really surprised by that. But they are playing hard. They act like they want to win. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm digging it, man. I'm digging it. I give it an A+. I'm just glad that they're able to play, without getting a whole bunch of infections and stuff like that. It seems like the NBA has figured it out. It's a different thing, man. It's kind of cool. They are all in one place, all on the campus there. It's just all basketball. You don't have a whole bunch of distractions. I'm digging it. I like it.
Lou Williams. Man, a lot of people are struggling shooting. I can see that. Like Greg said, the effort is there, but there's a lot of people that can't seem to find a shot. And I guess the preseason games didn't really do it any justice.
What game y'all watching with these people struggling to find their shot? I must be seeing different than y'all. I must got a different TV. But go ahead.
I guess I'm talking about like some of the top tier players, like LeBron struggling shooting, Jason Tatum struggling.
Yeah,
Anthony
one
Davis
bad game.
Who?
Jason Tatum. Never played one game.
Well, he played.
Well, you just said we got so far.
I mean, I don't know that I would call that, but he had a bad shooting night.
That's what I just said. Andrew Davis struggled last night. I didn't see the Rockets Mavs game, but they scored 150 points. So I imagine
no defense
too many. I can imagine it wasn't too many misses in that game. But it seemed like teams are like kind of a defense is ahead of the offense is what I say. Like Greg said, the effort's there. I seen like people.
LeBron didn't struggle shooting last night. He was 7 for 15.
Yeah, but he really wasn't exerting
Yeah.
himself.
What's his average?
What do you
Too.
mean? What's his
Average
average? That's slightly under
like
50%.
what's his average field goal percentage though?
That's
I
a
would
little
imagine it's
7
in
for
the,
15. It's a little under 50%. I
I
mean,
How
little
know
many
under
what that.
50%.
turnovers did he have? No. How many turnovers he had?
Well, you talking about something different. He said struggling shooting.
What was
I've
he
been
from
seeing
the
a lot
three?
of turnovers too. I've been
What was
seeing
he
a lot
from
of
the three?
turnovers. It
Because
was
when I
some game
was
I was watching when they had more turnovers than assists with both teams combined.
That was Pelicans' first game. Pelicans.
and the Clippers had like
They only had
the
18
Clippers had
turnovers.
the Clippers had like 30 turnovers in that first game against the Lakers. I'm not saying they reached 30. They was in the high 20s though. I do know that. But it seems like I said the defense is just ahead of the offense right now, which is like I said, kind of expected though. But
Malcolm heard that on TV.
I,
He heard that on TV.
hey,
I was watching the game yesterday, and I think
last
Jeff Van Gundy said that. Either
I didn't watch
Jeff,
no game. Look, I didn't watch no game. I didn't. Hey,
Commentary, bro.
look, last week of the month, I don't get to watch Nova TV. I'm at work all week. It was one week. It was one night. I didn't even get. That's why I didn't get to watch the Mavs Rockets game because I was doing something. I was at work doing something, and I barely got to watch the Lakers Clippers. I only watched like the end of the third and in the fourth quarter. I haven't really got to sit down and watch nothing just because of the timing of it.
What about T.J. Warren though, man? That boy dropped 53 on them boys, man.
He been balling all year.
Yeah, he has been. He has been.
And then I watched the Pacers game. I'm like, he just don't look like he. I don't know. He don't look like he doing nothing. Then you look up, he got 25.
That's how he was. That's how he was in NC State. That's how he was in college. He wasn't flashy. He just can ball. I thought he was really, when he got drafted. I thought he was going to be Rookie of the Year. I really liked this game at NC State, but he went to Phoenix, so you know.
I think the basketball in the bubble to me has been pretty good. I mean, the offense at times been a little sloppy, you know, with the turnovers and stuff like that. But other than that, I think it's been pretty good. You know, I think the one thing that's been I think Greg, you talked about the rhythm. The craziest thing that I've seen that I've noticed because I probably watched maybe 5 games or something like that, somewhere around there. Is the amount of guys getting fouled on jump shots, especially 3-point shots. It's like, and then I think to me that's a rhythm thing. You're out of rhythm as far as the defender. And by the way, the NBA needs to do something about that rule. I can't stand that rule where a guy jumps, he jumps right, and then you jump into him and they call foul. That drives me nuts. But I think it's been pretty good so far. Some uncharacteristic turnovers, but everybody seems to be playing hard. The NBA, the setup has been great. And as far as some of those teams, like the Pelicans and all of that, I don't necessarily think that their bad play or poor play is a result of them being in the bubble or being off for 4 months or anything like that. I think what you're seeing is the difference between the top and the bottom of the NBA. No longer are you playing the Washington Wizards. You're not playing the bottom of the barrel team, playing one good team every 10 days. Now you playing the Los Angeles Lakers. Then you playing the Clippers. Then you playing the Bucks. All you playing for the most part are playoff teams. So the quality of the opponents and of the games, even though there was a couple of blowouts yesterday,
Pelicans
are higher than it normally is because you're still used to having to watch Atlanta. No disrespect to Atlanta, but as far as the NBA goes, they're not one of the better teams in the league. But I think the play has been pretty good. It's been fun to watch, at least for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a basketball dude. It's been fun to watch. It was one other thing that I was gonna point out, but I can't. My brain just dropped it. I'm sure.
Does anybody know why Zion 15 minutes that first game? Why does Zion only play 15 minutes? Anybody know?
Because when he left the bubble, he was gone for like 8 days, and then when he came back, he had to quarantine for 4. Now I'm not sure exactly what you can do when you're quarantining. As far as I don't know if they got somewhere where you can go exercise, but my guess is when he was quarantining, He was just in his hotel room. So, you know what I'm saying?
But
Between
he
the 8
said he
days of
wouldn't.
him quarantining, the 8 days of him being gone, then the 4 days of him not being able to do anything, they wanted to limit his minutes in that first game.
I don't. But
But
what do
it don't sound like they told him before then though. It don't sound like they told him before the game
I
because they asked him in the media and he said he wasn't tired and
Right.
it wasn't no conditioning problem or nothing like that. And he said he was pretty mad about it.
I don't
He
understand.
don't run shit.
No,
What
I
is-
understand that, but it sounded like that wasn't like they didn't tell him that was the game plan before the game is what I'm saying.
He had Alvin Gentry clearly knew. Because Alvin Gentry was like, they said we can on the medical staff said we can play him this amount of minutes, and that just is what it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit,
yeah.
he ain't gonna be in New Orleans long.
Hey, I wonder why Anthony Davis couldn't do nothing in New Orleans. Hey, y'all wonder
There
why.
we go.
No. Because Anthony Davis wasn't good enough.
Hey, but
No,
I was watching
y'all
that-
get all these excuses. Just tell you, he just ain't get it done.
I didn't know. I refereed high school for like 2 years, but I didn't know being on the long. I didn't know being on the long layoff, bro, could like mess up refereeing like that. Cause they was like that Clippers Lakers game, but they was making some horrible calls. Even on some of the replays, like the one that comes to mind is it was late in the game, and Anthony Davis was going to go grab a rebound, and Green clearly like knocked it out of his hand. I think Jamaica's last name is Green or whatever. Clearly knocked it out of his hand, and they still said it was Clippers ball. So I remember that one. And then there was another one. I think they had called it traveling.
Angles matter.
No, you can see it on the replay.
But referees don't get replay.
They replayed it.
Referees don't get replay. Are you talking about they went to the sideline and
Yeah,
judged it?
they did. Yeah.
They might not have that same angle. I don't know.
I
don't really get into refereeing like that.
Apparently, they're supposed to have more angles because they did more cameras because there's no fans.
Man, it was something else I wanted to say about it.
So now that we see the social justice messages on the jersey and on the floor, what y'all think about that? Y'all see some different reactions?
I was gonna say
he got Myers
one,
Leonard's reaction.
As far as the names on the back of the jerseys go, you really, unless they do a close up of it, you don't even know what it be saying.
Right.
Especially like how long Black Lives Matter is, bro. It's like it almost make a whole circle. You don't even know what that is. But it's kind of.
I mean, I like
it.
No comment.
It's a no for me. I mean, now, like with what they doing, like with some of the things that they doing, some of the things that they putting on there, I think in terms of their social justice, what the players are trying to do with the social justice stuff, I think the connection is instant. But like in terms of like other things, I don't like if you put Black Lives Matter on the back of your jersey, I can connect that like right away. But like somebody had on the back of their jersey like "I am a man" or something like that. I was like, what the hell does that mean?
But
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like some of them,
right slogan, bro.
Something like between us or something.
That's an old civil rights slogan from back in the '60s. If you look at Martin Luther King and some of those marches, they used to have those signs that say I am a man, meaning I'm a human being.
I'm a human being.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like I wasn't tracking on, but for me, I gotta be totally honest with you, man. And even as a black man in America who, you know what I'm saying, I've been through my share of racism and all of that. I gotta tell you this.
We're not a monolithic people, so it's good to have varying opinions.
This is beating me down a little bit, man. Not the jerseys in particular.
Yeah.
But just the whole, you know what I'm saying, like it's like beating me. To be honest with you, bro, it's like watching the news.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At some point, you're like, fuck, man, I don't want to watch the news. I watch anything else, but I just don't want to watch the news right now because, you know, right now, all they're talking about is the coronavirus and something that President Trump done did, whether it's one news station, they like it, or another news station don't like it or don't agree with it, whatever. That's all they talking about on all the cable news stations. And then if you turn to your local news, at least out here, somebody got killed, it's a shooting, you just get tired of it. And that's my thing with the NBA right now is like, it
is very prevalent. They talking about it all. The announcers bring it up all the time.
Yes.
But I
I'm worn
think,
out.
yeah, but I think maybe it is. I get that, and I feel that too. It is a bit exhausting. Keep going over and over and over again. But I mean, I think because it just started, they just came back. It's kind of like you can't not address it. But if it goes into week 2, week 3, and they still talking about you know to the same extent that they are now, it will be. It's gonna be a bit much. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
it's beating me down. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you gotta, like, now all of a sudden we gotta, the names on the jerseys. I get it. I understand. I mean, the stuff on the jerseys. But then now we gotta sit here and watch 5 minutes of players kneeling and the announcers talking about. I'm like, hold, I don't want to watch. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to watch this before every
Right,
game.
right,
I
right. Yeah.
don't. It is like,
Because,
you know what I'm saying?
because you wouldn't even see the national anthem and all that before every game.
Yeah, some games you might see some of it, but my thing is like, so like this is how I look at it, right? Is as a black man in America, right? Regardless of whether you traumatized by racism or anything like that, like it's a negative experience for a lot of us, right?
Right.
I don't want to watch basketball and constantly
Yeah.
fucking reminded of my negative experience.
Right. I
Basketball
get
is a
that.
happy place for me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
True.
just the whole thing of racism and all that, like you said, it can be exhausting. Just like in general, you just get tired of it sometimes. Not of the subject, but tired of the fact that people can't grasp it, that it's still happening, all of that. And that's
Right.
my frustration with it. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
like I see that everywhere I go nowadays because of with the climate we in right now. And then I got to turn on basketball, and it's just like constant.
Yeah.
I'm
Like I
like,
said, I agree. I agree with that sentiment. It
but
is. It's a bit much. But like I stated before, and I stick to my opinion. I think the NBA is for better or worse what it is. It's a black league,
yeah, for
and
sure.
and and I ain't gonna say the execs, but at least from the coaches and of course the players, at least they seem to be unified and. And it's all one solid message. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You don't have a bunch of discord and all that. So I mean, I think it's definitely a good thing. I look at I think what they said, Drew Holiday was donating his salary.
Yeah,
I
5
think
mil. Yep.
yeah. So you got stories like that. Those are good things. You know what I'm saying? Those are good
I just
causes
get
to highlight. And so yeah, I mean, and they like I'm happy we got basketball, man. I'm happy we got some
For
live
sure.
sports. I wouldn't
I
even
just
watch
get
the
tired of I just get tired of the dumbass takes. Like, for example, people saying Greg Popovich is not genuine about Black Lives Matter because he stood for the anthem. Shit like that. They
well,
make it seem like it's huh?
he also was in the military, so I get
I'm
why
just
he was
saying.
saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like, once
I,
again,
I don't think it's a
but
dumb take. I don't agree
okay,
with it. I just think it's somebody else's opinion. But yeah, I mean, I guess you
okay,
can say it if that's how you feel it's a dumb take. But yeah, I got you. I'm
like
tracking
shit
what you're
like
saying.
that. So that's what I get tired of. Like, if you want to talk about the Jonathan Isaac thing, like, I guess
Very confusing, by the
her,
way.
her,
Not
that's what I was about to say. That shit was
Jonathan
dumb on both
Isaac.
sides to me because I, she gonna ask a black man how did he feel like Black Lives Matter. Like, what do you think he's gonna say on national television anyway? Whether he actually feels that fucking way or not, what do you think he's gonna say?
Wait,
And two,
you didn't like her question? I didn't hear what you said.
I just said, like, I'm just saying, like, her question. What do you think he was going to say? He wasn't gonna give you a different answer, right? He ain't
You
gonna say, I
talking
don't care
about
about
the
Jonathan
follow
Isaac.
up question?
No, the first one, she said, how do you, since you didn't, like, you stood for the national, you didn't have a Black Lives Matter shirt on, how do you feel about Black Lives Matter?
Right.
You don't think that's a legit wait? You don't think that's a legitimate question?
Well, I guess it might be in the sense, LJ, you're saying like how you feel about the Black Lives Matter movement, I guess.
Okay,
But I
so
mean,
maybe the wording wasn't the best. I think
yeah,
it's a
maybe.
fair question.
Yeah, I mean, if she would have had the word movement, I kind of get it. But clearly, I would
As a
hope
black
he
man in America on national television, what do you think he think he gonna say? No, I ain't with the Black Lives Matter.
It's black men that have still been on TV that said that.
and if all the players, and if I had to take a wager, I would wager Jonathan Isaacs would say that he not down with the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah, I mean, it's been black people on TV that have said that.
So
He has
then,
his type of answer as
Which-
far as being Christian and all that. He's been the same way since he came into the league. That's how
Yeah.
he's all.
and I was with him at the very beginning of his answer, like when he was saying, just because I don't kneel and just because I don't have a Black Lives Matter shirt on, don't mean I'm not down for the cause. I was with that, and
Right.
then he kind of lost me as he kept talking.
He talked too much. He was there going talk.
When Taylor Brooks asked him that follow-up question, that's when he lost me. When she said, "What does religion have to do with?" He lost me. I don't know what the hell he was talking about when she asked him that. He lost me on that. I was like, bro, what are you talking about?
So, like I said, at the very beginning of his answer, bro, I was with him. I was like, yeah, not every person has to. If you down for, like, if you with the Black Lives Matter movement, that don't mean you can't stand for the national anthem. That don't mean you have to raise your fist every time you do something. I'll let
Like
And-
Myers, for example. Did you see the
Hold on.
Myers
I saw,
Leonard?
yeah. So I'm confused once again, right, by his answer. Like,
Don't compare him to Breeze now. Don't compare him to Breeze.
I ain't nobody finna talk about no damn Drew Brees. So he was saying like he down for the Black Lives Matter movement, right? But
Right.
he wants to stand because
He wants to be patriotic.
he wants to be respectful to the military. Like, this is once again where I feel like you can do both. It's like to be down for the Black Lives Matter doesn't mean you're not patriotic.
I think
that's not what he said. Go ahead, Greg.
Somebody asked him about it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that like he voluntarily,
I get that. Yeah, he was answering the question. I'm just saying I don't see how. I guess I'm still confused why people correlating standing for the national anthem being anti-Black Lives Matter.
This is my answer.
Because everybody's raised differently.
President, okay? You had what, 60 some odd million people to vote for Donald Trump. That lets you know there's gonna be a lot of dumb questions out here in this world. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of idiotic ass people out here. So, I mean, dumb questions, we really shouldn't be surprised by them at this point.
I'm not surprised. I just get tired of hearing them. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think his response was like dumb. I mean, I thought.
No, I'm not saying his response was dumb. I'm just saying like
the question, the level of question to Myers Leonard is
about
crazy.
I mean, I can understand why people equate standing for the national anthem to patriotism. I understand it. I personally don't agree with that because I think that the flag and what if you just look at the core of what the military is about defending the Constitution, right? Defending the United States, right? And part of the Constitution is it gives you the right to protest.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why I don't think, but I understand because people attach like military service with that. Like this means military. And I don't agree with that, but I understand how people can wrap their minds to see that. And just like, I think you can have one, I think you can do both. I think you in your mind can say, you know what, let me find this quote from Dave Chappelle, because I think this quote is like perfect.
I thought it was interesting that Myers Leonard was standing up. Y'all noticed that his teammates was holding his leg or whatever. Y'all see that in the picture? He was standing up and they were down. Yeah, so I mean, it's his teammates that are embracing him. You know what I'm saying? And they respecting his position.
I'm not saying he right or wrong. I'm just saying like I'm still confused why people correlate. If you stand for the national anthem, you're anti-Black Lives Matter. Like I might stand.
President. People.
I would give you one word. It's called.
I might stand. I might sit down. I might I might take a phone call. You never know. Depending on who calls me, I might take that phone call. You know what I'm saying?
This Dave Chappelle quote is the best quote to me to describe the times we're in right now. And I'm assuming this quote is accurate. It says our culture has accepted two huge lies. The first is that if you disagree with someone's lifestyle, you must fear or hate them. The second is that to love someone means you agree with everything they believe, say, or do. Both are nonsense. You don't have to compromise convictions to be compassionate. And that's what I'm saying. I agree. I don't have a problem with what Myles Leonard is saying, because to him, the flag standing for the national anthem represents patriotism and represents some other things, right? But he respects and understands what blacks are going through. And I think he said something about, he would continue to do stuff, to try to help the situation and stuff like that. So I think both could be true, but that's, what I'm saying.
I want to say he had said some stuff a little while ago too that was kind of, I guess, controversial. And if you listen to Iguodala, he's talking about, he's learned a lot and stuff like that.
I saw Iguodala's interview, but I didn't, and I don't know anything about any kind of previous incidents or situations.
I want to say it was a couple of years ago. He said, Myles Leonard said something, but it might have been a tweet or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought it more so. I thought Iguodala was more so coming from the point that his background, maybe how he was raised. You know what I'm saying? And now that's different from his work environment. You know what I'm saying? Professionally, who he's around. So you gotta be sensitive and empathetic to the environment you're in. So
and part of my view, part of my view goes back to that I've said on here before is I do not I will probably never understand it why people feel like that they need everybody to feel sympathy or empathize with their cause and see things the way that they see it. I don't want to say it's never going to happen, but the likelihood of it happening is not very high. So, how much energy is it worth wasting trying to find every single person and win them over versus trying to win the right people over?
Right. I can't speak for the whole cause, but I would think the purpose of it would be to get equal treatment under the law. And so, like, if you can't agree with that,
no.
It's kind of hard for me to be in close quarters and be you need a haircut, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Be a coworker and all that.
But why? Number one, this is my opinion. Number one, what do my personal feelings have to do with work? That's number one. We don't have to be. That is, to me, that is the biggest, one of the most ridiculous things about working as an adult is people think you have to be friends. Like, nobody pays you to be friends.
Friends thing. I'm talking about equal treatment of the law. If you don't think I deserve equal treatment of the law, then shit, you don't give a damn about me as an individual, probably.
I mean, I never even think like in terms of equal treatment. But most people walking the earth, I don't care about them. And it's not even the thought of whether they're gonna get equal treatment or not. I literally just don't care about them. It's nothing personal.
It's not that you don't hate. It's not that you hate them. You just indifferent. You just living your life.
Don't care.
I get that. But I mean, to me, what this whole cause is about is I don't know. I'm black, so
they wasting their. I'll tell you, they wasting their energy fighting the wrong, like convincing Myers. Not to say Myers Leonard needs to be convinced, but convincing the guy in your office or the gal in your office that racism is wrong, not solving any problems. You have to, you have to convince the people that are in positions to make the change happen. Because if Lil Johnny that works at McDonald's, if he hates black people, right? And you never convince him to not hate black people, but you convince a politician or a group of politicians that can change some kind of vote collectively or change some kind of law collectively, where if Lil Johnny displays anything related to racism at work, he's automatically fired, then it don't matter. Either Lil Johnny gonna come around or he gonna have to keep that racism bottled up in his heart. You ain't got to change him because he ultimately I guess the way I view it is you have to target the right people. You know what I'm saying? It's just like in the army, right? If we going out on a mission, we ain't just going out to capture or kill anybody. You know what I'm saying? We got a specific target and a specific reason, because if we can capture or kill these people, this is going to have the largest impact on what we are on our overall mission and what we are trying to accomplish, right? Yeah. It's just like Greg in the police world. You always hear them talking about, well, we don't really want the nickel and that. We don't want the corner boys, the dude who's selling the dime bags on the corner. We need the bosses, because if we get the bosses, then we can affect everything under there, right? Because if I can catch these dudes that's running trap houses day after day, and they just gonna replace them. But if I get that boss, I can shut down the whole operation. That's how that's how I view it. But
but I agree. You do have to be very focused, very detailed, and very poignant about who you're going to focus on to try to make a change. So I definitely can agree with that. Like I say, man, the NBA, they head and shoulders above the other leagues, man, when it comes to social justice and even with COVID too, man. What is baseball doing, though?
That's Malcolm, you got an answer for this. It's your sport.
Malcolm.
Hell yeah, Rob Memphis said he ain't no quitter. Hey, they're going to change the rules. Hey, they ain't gonna be playing 9-on-9 no more. It's gonna be 5-on-5. They gonna change the rules.
I figured it out. I know what it is, Greg. This is baseball's reverse psychology. They thinking if everybody catches COVID,
then nobody can play,
because then there's no harm, because everybody already got it. We in that risk because we all already have it. It's reverse psychology. Right. I get it. I know what y'all doing, Malcolm.
I like on the cruise.
They spent all that time talking about money. They never ever got into the logistics of how the league was going to actually work, and they just went back in there like it was pre-COVID. Like, yep, just tee it up.
They should have. They should have went with their original plan. They should have went with Arizona League and the Florida League. That's what they should have went with. But not talk about that. I want to talk about the Marlins, bro. For the fact that they knew before they played that like 5 people had tested positive.
Wow.
Had a meeting. Yeah, they knew. They had a meeting before the game and decided that it was in the best interest of the team to play.
Yeah, because it's hard to bring a negligence. I mean, my lawyer I can't turn it off. It's hard to bring any kind of negligence claim with this COVID environment, because nobody knows who has it, and it's a novel virus. But if you know you're positive and you still go ahead and play, now you're doing something that's willful at that point. You're endangering people.
They didn't determine that, hey, we just not gonna let these people play, right? They sent everybody out there to play, including the people that tested positive. And then when they asked them, they said, like, what did y'all ever think about not playing? And they came out and say, not playing that game never came up. Never was never a thought.
Symptom free? They had to all be asymptomatic, right?
They was all tested positive regardless.
So think about the selfishness, right? Okay, you can say they didn't want to take a loss. For one, you're the Marlins. You probably ain't making the playoffs anyway. You really just out there to fill a schedule. 2, you're going to interact with this team, right? Now, baseball is kind of like, it's different from any other sport. You really don't interact with the other team, you know what I mean? As far as contact. Right. But you think about it, when you hit a single or get a walk, you literally walk to the first base and you're this close to the first baseman, right? Y'all talk, and sometimes depending on if you know the dude, you dap up and all the other stuff. Right. He don't know you positive. So
man, that's what's wrong right there, man. They were a bunch of more positive cases, bro. Because
the Marlins are up to like 30 people, including staff and players.
And didn't the Cardinals have like 4 more players test positive?
The Cardinals, yep. So now they not playing.
It's like the only way to me that the sports is going to work, and I don't care. I'm talking about the high school level, youth level, all this stuff. Just being honest, the only way it's going to work right now is in a controlled environment. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the bubble is.
And this
You
is the messed up thing about baseball.
can't
Like,
do that on the youth level and high school level or whatever. But pros, everybody needs to do a bubble, man. That's the only way it's going to work.
The MLB is not even trying to fix the problem. They saying the MLBPA got to get it together. So, like,
I mean,
We'll set it down if y'all can't get this virus under control.
I think what he was saying is, and this is why I think like baseball is kind of like not like I don't think they're a bad example yet of what can go wrong if you're not playing in the bubble. Because from what I've read, they have not truly done it right. And I think this is why Rob Manfred was saying what he was saying is because my understanding is that the reason they're having these issues is because their players are not doing the right thing. The players are not following the protocols.
yeah,
And I don't know if the teams are not emphasizing it or what, but like I read somewhere they said players are going to nightclubs and doing other things that they have said that they told them that they shouldn't be doing, like the NFL. I think I don't want to put a name on it because I don't remember, but I know it came out like last week. I think is what it was, that the NFL was saying that whether or not they're going to be able to have a full season is going to be up to the players, because it's ultimately going to come down to whether or not the players follow the protocols that the NBA is that the NFL. I hope I didn't say NBA. If I did, I meant to say NFL.
I can see a fight. There's going to be a fight coming up with the NFL and their players, because what the quote you just gave from the ownership and the league standpoint, the players saying something completely different. I don't know if you recall, maybe about 2 weeks ago, a lot of the players keep tweeting out these little subtle little messages saying, "Hey, NFL, get it together if we want to have a season." You know what I'm saying? Basically saying,
we know the players gonna fold. NFL players gonna fold every time.
No, they already started training camp.
I know.
Some
I'm just saying, like,
didn't your boy?
I mean, no. I mean, people are opting out, but I'm saying the NFL has already started training camp. The safety protocols and all that have already been agreed upon. I'm talking about this in terms of following them.
The offense is opted out. So Cam Newton ain't playing with nobody this season.
Them dudes wasn't doing nothing, no way.
Then the Jets, what's your boy name with Alabama? The linebacker?
DJ Mosley.
He just opted out. He got paid in February, though.
The Jets was garbage anyways.
I mean, but the Jets are garbage, but he's an important player to that team.
I mean, an important player to a losing team, it don't matter. It wasn't like if CJ Mosley was there, they not going to the playoffs. So without CJ Mosley, they just not gonna be a playoff team still.
You're talking like, you know what I'm saying, like they going straight to a condensed type of league. You know what I'm saying? They're looking to have their full league.
Yeah. You talking about the NFL?
They also months away too. They months away, so they're
months
away.
They're about a month and a half away from the first game.
Next month.
First game is what?
Next month.
Late September?
No. September 11th is the start.
Okay, I was about to say, that's what I was about to look at the schedule. Y'all go ahead, keep talking. I'm gonna try to find
when. First week of September. That first, second week of September is when they start. Bro.
Oh, is it there?
It started on like a Thursday.
Yeah, okay. Thursday night. They start early.
Hold on.
But what the hell was I about to say?
Are they talking about starting on time?
Week 1, the first game is September the 10th.
Okay.
NFL like
in Houston. They gonna start on time.
But they ain't. But you know, I can't call it. But I'll be surprised if they are able to finish. You know, like they start. The NFL.
I won't be, man. I won't be. I think you just got. I mean, I honestly think that if you follow the safety protocols, I think you might have some positive tests here and there.
See, the thing
think it'll be to the point.
The NBA took it away from the players.
Well, yeah.
You know,
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. That's why I said I was reading that thing where they said that whether or not they're gonna have a full season is gonna ultimately come down to the.
So are you relying on the players? You trust the players gonna do the right thing?
I'm telling you, grown folks gotta do what grown folks gotta do. I don't believe that,
Now,
Will. Just because.
I remind you now, Ezekiel Elliott is a starting running back for the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey,
Now,
don't he ain't never done nothing crazy.
What?
Listen, I mean, Ezekiel Elliott ain't done. He has not done anything that I haven't heard of him doing. Anything that I haven't heard of another college student doing. And
Yeah,
that's
the
a
problem
fact.
is he don't be in college doing it. He in the NFL.
That don't matter. It don't. But he college age. He hasn't done anything as an NFL player.
You can't compare crazy things that were crazy pre-pandemic to post-pandemic crazy, because I would say going to Magic City and getting you some chicken wings, that wasn't necessarily crazy. That was perfectly fine pre-pandemic.
I'm not following. I think we done missed like 2 or 3 different things at the same time.
Well, my point is that was irresponsible on Lou Williams' part, going out in public, inside damn strip club, going to get chicken wing. Now, like I'm saying, pre-pandemic, that wouldn't have been a problem. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't an issue. Nobody cares.
No, I thought you was talking about.
Well, so I'll bring up Ezekiel Elliott. It wouldn't be outside of the realm of possibility that Ezekiel Elliott end up in somebody's strip club. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, decision making. But what I'm saying is, what I'm saying is you ultimately, it's in the hands of the players. If they want to have a league, if they want to have a season, they got to do the right thing. It's you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. If your teammates aren't going to do the right thing and people in your organization aren't going to do the right thing, you're not going to have a season, and it's going to cost you money.
I mean, that's one way to look at it, and I agree to a certain extent, but I'm really interested to see what the NFL has rolled out, and it might be out already, as far as their safety protocol and precautions and things that they're doing to keep the players safe. It's easy to say, yeah, if the players just do what they're supposed to do, and we're going to finish the season. But what are you doing to protect the players?
That's what I'm saying. But I think that's a false notion that's out there. Like, hopefully we'll get to this Pac-12 thing here. You can't guarantee anybody's safety. Like, wear masks, social distance, washing your hands, hand sanitizer, stuff like that. There's only so much you can do.
But what are they?
There's only so much you can do.
But are they doing so much? You know what I'm saying? That's more my question. And for the sake of time, I'll look it up and I'll do some research and see.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do. At the end of the day, it's gonna be up to the individual. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I was telling my wife. I went to the store the other day to buy something. No matter what it was, went to the grocery store. You know how a lot of grocery stores have the little fresh market or whatever the hell you want to call it, where you can go up to the counter and order, usually it's some kind of seafood or like, steak, whatever, some kind of meat where they bag it up for you and it's not frozen. So I was going over there to buy some stuff, and we're in the middle of the pandemic, state mandate that you got to wear a mask. Dude just standing right there at the counter, no mask, and he was trying to talk to other people. He kept looking back like he wanted to talk to me, and I was just waiting for him to say something so I could say, listen, my brother, you don't have no mask on. Don't say shit to me. Ain't nothing. Don't talk to me. I don't care. If you dying right there, I'm going to look at you and say, well, you should have wore a mask. I might have helped you. You could be on fire. I say, well, he don't have no mask. He might have a coronavirus. I don't want the coronavirus. Look like he going to burn up.
Right.
But, you know what I'm saying? So people gonna do what people going to do. And if, you know what I'm saying, if you want to take that risk,
yeah.
If you want to take that risk and ruin it for everybody, they say one bad apple spoils a bunch.
What's Murphy's Law? Things that can't go wrong will. You know what I'm saying?
If you try to make this damn mask thing so political too, that crazy.
It is. It really is.
Mask ain't political. Yeah, people just stupid and want to argue about anything. It ain't even political. People just stupid. I mean, like, seriously, like, and I think I probably said this like 3 weeks in a row or our last 3 podcasts. One of the biggest misnomers I don't know about it in the world, but in the United States, is that when you become an adult, all of a sudden you become rational and you somehow gain the ability to think logically. You become intelligent and you are able to make proper decisions.
My example to dispute that is you got a 74-year-old Donald Trump, and he's a freaking idiot. He's a senior
Well, no.
citizen.
No. That's my point. Is people assume that like when you become they say, well, you got to be 18 to vote. Like, why? Just because like it's a lot of people that they were stupid at 15, 14, and they still stupid at 60. They still have no ability to logically process things and make logical, informed decisions. They just stupid. And in the United States, there's this thought process that when you get a certain age, that all of a sudden everybody's intelligent. It's not true. A lot of people, I would argue most people that were stupid in school are still stupid when they become adults. It's just you older. And people just assume like, well, you're an adult. It's like, yeah, there's an adult, but he's still stupid. He was stupid 10 years ago. He's just 10 years older now. He just had more years to re-emphasize to you that he's stupid. But because he's an adult, you just say, well, he can't be as stupid. He's an adult. Like, no, he's been stupid his whole life.
Let's transition to the Pac-12 thing, right? Because we talked about professional players being responsible and doing what they need to do to make sure they're COVID free. It looks like from this We Are United. I mean, a lot of it is social justice back too, but I see some of their demands, and a lot of it is about COVID precautions. They feel like universities are not going to put them in the best position in order to, remain safe and remain corona free. I saw one player was a wide receiver. He's a wide receiver for the University of California. He said he got a fiance and a son at home, man. And he's not trying to bring that back to his house, which is legitimate.
All you gotta do is not play. And it goes back to my argument. Like people always want like a gang or a group for them to feel better about their decision. Like if you don't want to, if you think that what you're doing is gonna put your family or somebody you really care about at risk, you don't have to go out explaining it. You don't have to get a coalition to back you up. To say, listen, I'm gonna step aside this year, but for some reason, people don't want to do that. They just want to fight against everybody else. Well, brother, just don't play.
I do see some college players opting out though.
Yeah, for sure. NFL players have opted out, like the cat from I can't think of his name. His name is Dante something. I think it's Dante Hightower.
Dante Hightower.
Yeah, he said he wasn't gonna play because he just had a baby sometime within the last month. You know what I'm saying? So he ain't waiting to say, oh, well, let's see, listen, he got a kid.
He also got millions too, though.
But that's beside the point. It don't matter whether you got money. Is it now? Hold on. I'm gonna hit you there. Is it about money or is it about health? Because you can't tell me it's about both. Now you can't tell me that only reason but they don't get paid in college. So is he concerned? Are they concerned about money? Or are they concerned about their health?
He's trying to get paid.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna pay you not to come to work. But I mean, I got you. I'm just saying, like, if that's how you feel, then that's how you know what I'm saying. That's how you feel.
It's kind of like, okay, so let's make a comparison. For me, as an example, as a lawyer, if the law firm I work for, they don't put any kind of safety precautions in place, nothing like that. I mean, I do, but I mean, but I still work with a firm as well. But if they do not, make it a safe environment for me to work in, you saying my recourse just say, hey, I ain't gonna work here. You know what I'm saying?
You can.
Yeah, you're right. But I mean, I don't think that that's the appropriate response for every situation.
Why not?
I mean, I think that kind of ties into what we were talking about last week particularly with the high school athletes and social and distance learning in sports. If you feel like if it's not safe enough for you, then just don't show up. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody's forcing you to work there. Now, you have to understand. It's no different than. Excuse me, I'm talking loud. My bad. It's no different than deciding to play right. You have to understand, or in theory, you would have to understand the ramifications or the potential ramifications of you playing, meaning you could catch COVID and the negative effects, even potentially losing your life just specifically from COVID, right? So that is some potential negative ramifications for you deciding to participate in that particular sport. Now, there's some positives that can come out of that, financially or whatever. But then the same thing would be on the negative side. If I think, okay, well, I got family members at home that are sick, or not even, maybe they don't even have those, what do they call them? The pre-existing health conditions that, make them more likely to catch COVID-19, or make it more severe if they do catch it. Maybe you don't even have anybody like that at your house. You just saying, hey, I got a spouse, I got kids. I want to potentially bring that home to my kids, right? Then you have to do the same thing. Okay, what are the negative? What's the positive and the negative of that? The positive is I won't get it for sure by not playing football. I can still catch it, but I won't get it from playing football. The negative is maybe I won't have that job. Even if it's even if you're not an athlete and it's just your regular career or profession or whatever, you have to weigh that. Okay, if I decide that my job is not taking the proper precautions, can I afford to quit and stay at home or try to find another job that takes better precautions? You know what I'm saying? Can I afford to quit? If the answer is yes, you know what I'm saying? You have to weigh it out. It can't just be, well, since they don't want to do it, I just have. You don't have to. It's easier for people to say that, in my opinion, because it takes them off the hook from having to make that decision. They put it on somebody else instead of just taking it on their shoulders. Yes, all right, I don't like the way the precautions you taking, I'm not going to come to work here no more. Or I'm not going to come practice here no more. Or I do like it and I am. It's just like, if you know what I'm saying? If it's no different if somebody was treating you like crap, if there was racism at your job, you could look at it one or two ways. You can either stay there and say, I'm going to deal with it because I cannot afford to quit my job. Or you can say, you know what, it ain't worth it. I don't care how much money I make or whatever this job is providing for me. It's not worth it. I'm good. I'm out.
I mean, they doing it. They doing it in a unified manner. But I think, for the most part, they really are doing it kind of like you stated. From what I read about a lot of players, they just saying, hey, if things are not in order and not as they should be as far as our safety, we're not showing up.
So what did it say? Because I didn't.
Let's go line by line. Should we go line by line?
Yeah, because I didn't get a chance to read it. So
all right, I'll read the little some of these. All right, to ensure future generations of college athletes will be treated fairly, because the NCAA sports exploit college athletes physically, economically, academically, and also disproportionately harm Black athletes. Greg, I wanted to ask you about that one.
Yeah.
And in rejecting the NCAA's claim that Black Lives Matter while also systematically exploiting Black athletes nationwide, we are united. And all these first things say we're united. How do college athletics physically, economically, and academically disproportionately harm Black college athletes? I mean, I can economically, I can 100% agree with. Excuse me, I can 100% agree with. Jeez.
You're saying because the play. Well, I'm assuming you mean it from a notion of a player brings so much money to the university, but he's not seeing any of the funds. Is that what you mean?
Yes. And they're not. Well, how do I? Yes, then there, because it's not quite as clear cut.
Yeah,
as they're not seeing any of the funds. It's more they have no control over what is done with the funds that quote unquote they are seeing. You feel what I'm saying? So like, as a student athlete, they are paying your tuition, they are paying your room and board. You do get clothes, you do get food, etc.
I think they get a stipend too, don't they?
they get like a little per diem and all that.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know if it's at every university, but I do know there are universities where you get like some kind of little stipend. So there are economic benefits. You just don't necessarily have control over them. So, and you can argue that, the whole thing, just like compensation in any professional sports, some guys probably and girls deserve more than others,
Right. Well, I mean, so yeah, I can I can see them being exploited in that manner as well. Maybe academically as well, because now some of it is on the athlete because a lot of them are there just for sports anyway, and they don't give a damn about school. But there are some instances where you have some players they enroll and they go to school, but they're not allowed to take the courses that they want to take or have the major that they want to have because the coach doesn't necessarily agree with it. They feel like that major track or whatever it is, of course, you take it might interfere with the sport that they're coaching. So there has been instances sometimes where that happens. Uh,
So let me
again,
ask you this
go ahead.
regarding to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So how does some of these players get the like astro engineering or astro, you know, like majors like that? If these coaches are kind of detracting them from those majors, like how do we get the players that major in like astro?
I mean, of
You
course,
know,
you're going to get some. I mean, of course, some of the players are exceptional academically. Some of them are on the
right,
team and can get into the university on the academic merits without even having to play sports.
right,
Sometimes you have that where that shines through, but you might have a player that might not necessarily be a 4.0 student or a top of the top, but he might have a particular interest in a major and want to try it out. But a coach or a university might discourage him or her from doing that because they feel like, hey, that ain't your lane. We want you to, you know what I'm saying, be eligible. We don't want you to, you know what I'm saying, run the risk of failing a course because it's too difficult and beyond you. And we more so cared about, your ability to perform on Saturdays or,
I think
whenever whenever you're on the court.
I
So
think some of it is too. Like I feel like this is one of those. This is one of those issues where it's not as black and white as a lot of players try to make it out to be. What we're
yeah,
taking advantage of academically. Well, how many? I mean, if we were to take a poll, an anonymous poll of how many kids come out of high school, excuse me, and go to play college, and their number one, what is their number one goal? I'm gonna guess that there's probably, I would guess there's 80, 90% of them, their number
D1
one
level.
goal is to go be a professional athlete.
Yeah,
So Malcolm, I think the reason that you see guys who are able to get the, like the guy from Kansas City who's a doctor, or guys who come out with degrees in economics or engineering and stuff like that. I think because this is my guess, I don't know this to be a fact, but my guess would be that their mindset coming into college is probably, okay, I'm going to go to college and play football, then I'm going to go be a doctor. Or
right,
I'm going to
right.
come into college and play football, then I'm going to go be an engineer. Like, they don't come into college thinking that my number one goal is to go be a professional athlete. They come into college thinking, I want to get my degree. If I can make it professionally, great. But if I don't, I really want to go be a doctor. Just
Right.
like what's the cat in Florida State, Myron Rowe.
Iron Roll, yeah,
yeah,
Rose.
He's a
he
great
actually
example.
took
He
the
was a Rhodes Scholar and all of that because he came into the mindset of like in Florida State, like, I want to be a doctor. I'm
Right.
good at football. If I can be a professional athlete, that's great. But I really want to be a doctor.
Your
and
So
career as a
his main
doctor,
focus was
oh,
getting the.
yeah.
your career
So
as a doctor
to
will
stay
be
on
way
him for a
off.
little bit, yeah, that's why Robert Smith left too. But he ended up getting back in like broadcasting or something like that. But to stay on Myron Rowe for a little bit, y'all remember when he had his Rose Scholar ceremony?
I didn't
He
watch
had
it.
No, nah, they didn't show it on TV. But that same day,
they had a game,
Florida
and it was
State was playing. It might have been a boat. Was it a bowl game?
it wasn't even a bowl game. It was I don't even know if it was. I don't know if it was a conference championship game, but it was later in the season. He caught a lot of flack about missing that game or not being there at the start of the game. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, like he didn't show up and like he went to a ceremony during the day and he had to fly to wherever
Right.
the game was, and he
Right.
caught a lot of flack for that. And I guess that ties back into what we were talking about last week. Was like the argument was if you deem it's not safe enough for kids to return to school, how can you deem it safe enough for them to play sports? And LJ kind of mentioned, he said in some households, sports is more important than academics, or they're like on the same part. And I guess the folks that are mad is how they view sports. Does that make sense?
But
You know,
with the particular Myron Rolle example though, to me it's kind of counter to what the players are saying because from what I recall, he got a lot of support from Florida State. Like they really backed him. You know what I'm saying? They weren't giving him any slack about missing the game. Bobby Bowden was still there. He was supporting Rolle, telling him, "Hey, this is a once in a lifetime deal. Go do that." And I think the university was supporting him. And I imagine the NCAA was. The
Yeah,
people that
I'm talking about fans. I ain't saying Florida
it
State
was
didn't
it
do
was fans. Yeah, it was fans. It was
the,
Same
fans.
thing with
the
Vince Carter. Y'all remember when Vince Carter went to his graduation ceremony?
yeah. No, I can beef with the graduation ceremony a little bit. I can beef with that a little bit. You don't need to go
Oh
to the
yeah.
grad. I understand why though. You know, you only graduate from college. I can't even say you only graduate from college once. Because
Well,
that would not be true in the case of everybody.
graduation situation is different. Sometimes
Yeah.
you're the first person in your family to graduate from college. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? So there's some difference. But I would say in those situations, you got to take fans out of the equation.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
Because as a fan, fans don't care about what you're doing after you get out of college. They just
It
want to
is.
win the game. They just want to be able to go talk crap to their friends or online or whatever. They don't care about whether some kid, you know, is a Rhodes Scholar. I mean, like, oh, that's great. Now, if I'm an alumnus of that university, I'm an alumni, then maybe I care because, you know, it brings some prestige to my university. But most fans, they don't care. They just care about the game. That's all that matters to them. Here's another one that I thought was pretty interesting.
Who's the biggest name in college sports that's on board with this stuff?
I don't know. I have not seen it. I saw a list, but it was only like 10 players, and I was like, well, that can't be accurate. Because that's not, that seems like,
Nobody you recognize. Nobody gonna
well,
be no one.
I'll be honest, I didn't even look at it because I was like, 10 people for We Are United? That's not even the majority of your team, fam. It sounds like y'all are united.
It don't sound like they're united at all. With 10
Yeah,
people.
that don't, I mean, so I don't know. But this one was interesting to me. Hold on, where is it at? I gotta scroll up. Okay, I'll just read this one right here.
And you gonna read it?
Yeah, because immoral. This one I didn't understand. No. Okay, because any player who does not feel comfortable playing this season should be free to opt out without losing their scholarship or any eligibility.
Maybe
Are you
keep
fighting with the right people?
your eligibility, but I don't know about keeping your scholarship. If you opt out, you give them your scholarship, right?
That's a tough one. I don't know.
I would be probably the other way around.
I would think you should be able to keep your eligibility because you haven't played. You know what I'm saying?
I would think so too.
I think you should be able to keep your eligibility. You can be. I got 4 years. I got 5 years of eligibility college sports right now, and I'm 39 years old. You know what I'm saying?
I'm thinking about getting mine. I can get on in the HBCU. I ain't got no talent nowhere. I can get on it.
But I would think that if you refuse to play, you essentially, to me, you're surrendering your scholarship. You can't really have your cake and eat it too. I'm kind of with LJ on this one, man. If you're gonna be down for the cause, you got to be all the way. You got to be willing to risk it all, lose it
Here's
all.
another one. Because we should be included in equitably sharing the revenue our talents generate, especially in a pandemic.
Why, especially in the pandemic?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm not sure what that part has to do with it. Because it's not like they were working before the pandemic.
Right? True. I mean, maybe because everybody's feeling the pinch. You know what I'm saying?
They can provide for their families. I
don't
will
know.
say
Yeah.
I'm all for NCAA players getting paid, right? But how do you disperse that money? Like how do you determine who gets what?
Ain't nobody gonna be happy with the answer, bro.
Yeah,
Ain't nobody
right.
gonna be happy. It's gonna be lawsuits to come out because you're gonna pay football players, but you're not gonna pay the volleyball players. You know what I'm
But
saying?
no, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like you got Johnny Manziel, right? At A&M, which he brings in a lot of money.
Right.
But then you have I guess I'll just say like a Clayton Kershaw, like say he's at the University of Florida. Obviously, football players bring in more money, right? So
Right.
is Clayton Kershaw gonna get more money as a pitcher in Florida than let's say the second string running back at A&M? Like, even though the second string running back may get more TV time than Clayton Kershaw, but Clayton Kershaw he would be a big, like, that's what I mean by how you gonna disperse it.
That's a real quagmire when we're talking about solving that problem, because every school is not on equal footing. Every
Yep.
conference is not on equal footing when we're talking about financial, ability and revenue and resources. So I think in
Like,
order to make it is not as complicated as possible, they just gonna give a blanket payment to everybody across the board, NCAA Division One.
and
That's
like,
the
are
most.
you?
Go
So when
ahead.
you say that, are you saying like every football player is gonna get the same amount, but it's gonna
Every
be
athlete.
different?
I'm talking about every
Every
athlete.
athlete.
I'm talking about lacrosse
Okay,
players. You know what I'm saying? In order to
gotcha.
have it to be as simple as possible, and and not to get into a whole bunch of back. I mean, lawsuits gonna come. Disputes gonna come out either way. There's no perfect fix. But if I were the person making the decision, I would pay everybody, and they would all get the same payment.
I
That's
think
what
that I think that this is not this a lot of the stuff in here to me is just doesn't make any sense. It's not bad. It's not. I don't want to say it doesn't make any sense, but like as I'm reading, it's just I'm gonna hit the overall thing now.
Just a whole bunch of thoughts put together and like no
Well, no,
structure
I
to it.
mean
Like,
it makes sense, but it's almost like they don't want to play, so they're using this as
I
justification
got
for them
you.
not playing.
Got you.
Because about 80% of the stuff that they want is not going to happen before the season starts. It
Right.
just
A
is
lot
not.
about
You know, they've been arguing
a
about
lot about
compensation for
social justice,
athletes.
money, and all that. Yeah, that shit
They've
ain't
been arguing
happening
about
yet.
that for years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if you're not going to do all of this, we're not going to play. Most of this stuff it will not happen before fall camp.
Right.
It's not going to. But I think that the likeness, the whatever they're talking about now, likeness, being able to get paid for autographs, going places and stuff like that, I think they should be able to get compensated for that. Now, outside of that, I don't think that is in the best interest of college athletes to try to change the current system. And here's why. Because you get into a totally different world when you start saying we are compensating you, right? We are compensating you. You get into a totally different ball game. And so for example, right, if let's say you have a major test coming up, right, but we got a game and maybe you need extra time to study for that test. Well, you're just gonna say, well, you can't. I guess like what I'm saying is when you start saying I want to be paid, you take away that student athlete line, and now I'm gonna look at you like an employee.
Right. Right.
I don't give a shit what you, because I mean to me, I don't give a shit what you got going on. You know what I'm saying? I'm hungry. Well, hey, listen, that's a personal problem, Jack. We got a football practice.
You got
You know,
paid.
like you
You get
become an
yeah.
employee, even though you would like the coaches to treat you like a like their father figure and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that line is a line that I don't feel like as college students that you should want to cross, because yes, should college students be compensated in some way, shape, form, or fashion? I think off your likeness and stuff like that, absolutely. I think what would be good for them is to be able to have maybe more control over the money that is geared towards them, right? So, and I know people say, oh, well, college education isn't valuable. Well, Greg, you and I both have, Malcolm, I don't know, I know you went to college. I don't know, I'm not sure if you finished, but you've obviously had to pay for some college, right? So we all know what it feels like to have to pay tuition, right?
Right.
Now, as a college athlete, do I want them to give me $100,000 and say, all right, hey, here's what the average student has to live on. This is what you got to figure out for your year. You got to buy clothes. We're not going to supply you with cleats, none of that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We'll give you pads and all of that. And then you have to start paying for this all on your own. You know, like there's a lot of areas in there that I don't think kids are understanding and are taking into consideration when they're saying, well, we should be paid. Because again, when I start paying you, a payment is different than a stipend. When I start paying you, I'm gonna treat you like an athlete. Excuse me, I'm gonna treat you like an employee, and everything. I may consider your school, but I don't have to. You know what I'm saying? It's just like if you like a lot of police officers, you hear about them being police during the day and going to law school at night. Well, if you're an employee of the police department, I don't care if you go to law school or not. If we got this case, you got to work this case, Jack. No. I got it. You go to law school, but I'm paying you to work this case. You see what I'm saying? So that's. I think they should do the likeness thing and let everything else stay the same, and maybe they can get a little
Have
bit
they
more
even
on the back end. You know what I'm saying? In terms
what's
of
the reasoning for them not being able to get paid on their likeness? Like it doesn't make any sense. Like anybody else in the world can get paid on their likeness, but then
it's because they consider them. It's the whole amateurism thing, and I don't really understand it thoroughly. I'm not gonna lie.
It's just been a cop out for them to just keep all the money, pretty much.
But then, like, go ahead,
Mal.
No, I was gonna say, how does them controlling the likeness? How does the school benefit from Tim Tebow not being able to sign autographs and get paid for? How does Tim Tebow get? I mean, how does the University of Florida benefit from that?
So when Tim Tebow was at the University of Florida, he won number 2, right?
15.
What was the number?
15.
15. Okay. 15, right. So them number 15 jerseys was flying off the charts.
I get that.
Like crazy.
I guess I'm strictly talking about like the autographs.
I think the autograph. I think the autographs and the other stuff comes into like what they've always said is that makes you a professional athlete.
You're making money. You can't make any side money like that.
And then they will hide behind a lot of times cheating and all of that too, in terms of I'm sure y'all both probably familiar with Boston College and the point shaving and all of that, stuff like that. Right. I don't agree with it, but that's me. I got one other thing that I want. We didn't even really get into all of their demands. So they said because eliminating lavish salaries and facility expenditures to preserve all sports must be prioritized.
Man, that's got to trip me out. Like I say again, you can't have your cake and eat it too. And when they start paying y'all, that money is gonna come from the facilities. You know what I'm saying? That's something you got to understand. Like you're going to get shorted on the nice amenities and stuff like that because now they got to start paying you because the university president, he ain't taking no pay cut. Head coach, he ain't taking no pay cut. Coordinators, they're not taking the pay cut. That money is going to come from the other stuff that they have set up in the university. So you gotta realize that as an athlete and player that you're gonna be shortchanged.
So how does that change recruiting? If they start paying them, they just go to the highest bidder.
Well, if you're doing it different from my system, like I said, everybody get paid.
Is just flat.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, if you're paying everybody differently, then yeah, that becomes a big again.
Cheating.
You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna be all over that. Oh, we can slide you a little extra bread.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I just read to y'all was one of the dumbest things that they put in there. Doesn't make any sense.
I thought that was
salaries.
Yeah.
Listen, young man, young woman.
Don't be counting other people.
Don't do that. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. It just doesn't make sense. Why should I not be compensated for what I can do? You asking for the same thing. You asking to be compensated. Why you hating on my pockets? You ain't gotta knock my pockets. First of all,
Nick Saban ain't taking
no money for another team to keep playing. Now, if I want to do that, I should. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, and this is why some things that people, you have to be careful what you speak on if you don't totally understand everything, right? So a lot of those, how do I say this? A lot of the over-the-top things that you see in college sports, in particular college football, a lot of that stuff is paid by boosters.
Yeah.
You know, they give a fund, and if a booster give you a fund, you tell them you're going to use it to build a new locker room, they want that new locker room built. They don't, because they don't care, you know what I'm saying? They don't care about I don't know, women's soccer or men's rowing or something like that. So that was one of the things that I thought that they had now that I was like, that's and then there's some other stuff that they got. They want medical coverage.
This is only the Pac-12, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
They want medical coverage.
Yeah.
Let's see what they
So,
want
I mean,
the Pac-12 to. They want the Pac-12 to donate 2% of conference revenue will be directed by players to support financial aid for low-income Black students, community initiatives, and development programs for college athletes on each campus. Like what?
That's kind of bold.
I don't know. Like I'm not sure. Like I mean. And then they want to form an annual Pac-12 Black College Athlete Summit with guaranteed representation of at least 3 athletes of our choice from every school.
Yeah, I wonder who is the people that is organizing and putting this stuff together. Because I know at one point they were talking about creating like a union for college athletes, and I wonder if it's some of those same people because I think they were in California as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
They want medical insurance for sports-related medical conditions to cover 6 years after college athletics eligibility ends.
I can dig that because sometimes you have players that get career-ending injuries or just debilitating injuries that affect them after college. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of unfair to cut off the medical treatment.
They want you to distribute 50% of each sport's total conference revenue equally among athletes in their respective sports.
Okay. So that's kind of in line with what I was saying, that they want to pay everybody the same amount of money and it comes from 50% of revenue. Okay, I guess. So that sounds like they want a 50-50 share of players in NCAA. That we know that ain't happening. That ain't happening. That ain't even happening on the pro level.
They want 6-year athletic scholarships for undergraduate and graduate degree completion. Half of y'all ain't even completing the undergraduate degree.
I don't know if I have a problem with that one either. But that's,
I'm not rolling. That's too much money.
Because what, they got 5 years now? They want an extra year?
I don't know how many years you get right now. You get 4 years of eligibility. I don't know how many years of scholarship you get. But it sounds like they basically want you to pay for their undergraduate and graduate degree. I'm not rolling.
But I thought they specifically said, did they say undergraduate and graduate?
Yeah. It says 6-year athletic scholarships to foster undergraduate and graduate degree completion.
I was gonna say, yeah, they kind of wild, but sometimes you do have players that they get graduate degrees in 4 years. It's rare, but you do have some players that finish in 3 years, and in their 4th year they get a graduate degree. That's the reason why a lot of them transfer. You know what I'm saying, and able to not have to sit out that year like Russell Wilson. They are in graduate school that 4th year.
Some of these things they're asking for, like I'm like, if you don't want to play, just say you don't want to play. But this ain't happening in 3 months.
Nah.
They want to transfer one time. Man, some of this.
I do. I don't think that should be in there, but I do feel like they should be able to get maybe I'd say a mulligan, but like a transfer, because for certain different reasons, like a lot of times they coach may leave that recruited them, or that's really it. And I think more so if it's just because the coaches, but they do get paid, but they sign these 5-year contracts and they gone after they leave after 1. So
yeah,
I do feel like they should be able to get transferred, but I don't think it should be in that though.
I'm gonna read all the lines from. They got one of the things said protect all sports. It says preserve all existing sports by eliminating excessive expenditures. I don't know who Larry Scott is, but I'm guessing he's the commissioner of the Pac-12. It says Larry Scott administrators.
Was he? Yeah. I believe so. I thought he was over the whole NCAA, but yeah, probably just Pac-12.
Nah, that's that Mark Emmert dude or Mark.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It
Right.
says Larry Scott administrators and coaches to voluntarily and drastically reduce excessive pay in performance and academic bonuses, in lavish facility expenditures, and use some endowment funds to preserve all sports. And it has
It's
an
crazy
asterisk.
because they
It
asking
says,
you to dial down the expenditures on the facilities, but that's the main thing recruits look at when they come to the school.
I was
Is the
about to say they don't realize it's gonna directly affect what they're asking, directly affect them. That's the
right.
part.
Yeah, it's kind of throw it off.
and then it says, as an example, Stanford should reinstate all sports discontinued by tapping into their $27.7 billion endowment.
There they go, can other
So
people.
they want to use the university's endowment to pay for sports, but I mean, obviously, what this first of all, what discontinued sports are they talking about? Was the sport even bringing in?
Stanford got rid of a lot of sports. But
Mm-hmm.
go ahead, Greg.
Oh, they did. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, they got rid of, I don't know how many. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Uh,
I'll go ahead.
as far as the biggest one, I think they got rid of one of their soccer teams. I want to say, if I remember correctly.
They're discontinuing 11 sports. Let's see, it's about to pop up.
What day?
Men's and women's fencing, field hockey, lightweight rowing, men's rowing, co-ed, and women's sailing, squash, synchronized swimming, men's volleyball, and wrestling.
And men's volleyball is big out there on the West Coast like that.
Yeah, wrestling big too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Stanford eliminated. But again, like I said, sometimes my understanding is endowments and funds, when they're donated, when they're agreed upon, they're for a specific reason. Yeah.
Yeah, you spent. Yeah, they do. They do.
You can't automatically just say, "Oh yeah, we losing sports, so now we got to go over here." And then the kids, they got to understand how life and finances work.
Right.
You don't continue to.
I don't understand like who wrote that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I get because I would think that there has to be some kind of like I said, shell of a union or some kind of adult that's helping to draft that. Now, if it was all college students that wrote that, then I get it. They clueless. They just a bunch of 18 and 19-year-olds. Well, there was some adults, some senior level folks that helped draft that, and it's overly ambitious.
Didn't LJ just tell you age don't matter?
That's true. That's true. All right, man. Well, shit.
I gotta bounce, man. Y'all finish this. Malcolm, I made you the host.
I'm done, bro. What, son? Man, y'all catch you next week, man. We do this every Sunday, so y'all know where to find us. We're gonna post it everywhere anyway. You can get to a sandwich. I gotta give you my son's sandwich. All right, bro.